Hey everybody, welcome back to Khaldor TV and welcome back to more Heroes of the Storm. We are now again in the losers bracket of the End of the Storm tournament, and right now we're looking at Roccat versus Virtus Pro. Virtus Pro, they just dropped down into the losers bracket. Roccat already of course found themselves in the first round of the losers bracket. They were able to take down the Pirates Pajamas, advanced, and now they have to deal with Virtus Pro here. And this is going to be a fun series between these two teams. It's again a best of three, and of course the victor is going to advance through the rounds, and one of the opponents that they could face is actually Team Liquid, because Team Liquid and Na'Vi are facing off against each other in the other losers bracket match. So in this case right now we're having the first map, Tomb of the Spider Queen, between Virtus Pro and Roccat, and the damage dealers here for Roccat are Nazebo and Kelthas. So they're trying to rely on the two of them during the series, whereas we're having a Vala and also a Jaina when we're looking at the setup for Virtus Pro. The Russians oftentimes very aggressive. On this map here, of course, it's all about the map control in the mid lane. We already know that. The turn-in spots here where you try to get the web weavers for your team, and it sets the series off, the best of three series here, of course, setting a bit of the pace for the rest of the games as well. So guys, coming up first is Tomb of the Spider Queen, the first map between Virtus Pro and Team Roccat. Game number one in our series here today at the End of the Storm. It's the last day of the tournament, and we have Virtus Pro going up against Roccat. In the loser bracket, the two teams are facing each other, meaning of course that whoever loses this series will be out of the tournament. To the left side of the map we have Muradin, played by BKB. We're seeing Malfurion, played by Unstable, Kuni-chan on Johanna, Andy Lendi on Jaina, and Seth Kaja on Vala. To the right side of the map, it's Zokke on Anubarak for Roccat. We have Shadowma playing Uther, Chris on Kalthas, Sportbilly on Leoric, and Hazorps is playing Nazebo in this case. So yeah, pretty excited for this one. Both of the teams has everything on the line for them. They need to make sure that they win this one, and already a big fight up in the middle of the map, a 5 versus 5. Yeah, oh, and we have two heroes getting extremely low. Kuni-chan explodes, and that's an early first blood for Team Roccat. Sportbilly just barely able to get away, and Nazebo gets counter-killed. They're even going now for a kill on Shadowma, not able to lock him down completely. Vala explodes, and oh my god, it's a bloodbath already. The gravity labs nearly hitting Unstable now too, and they are not done yet either, are they? Just moving in with a few heals, and it looks like Malfurion is gonna die as well. 3 kills against 2, oh my god. Yep, that's exactly the start into a game that we were hoping for. That's the perfect start into the tournament today. And of course, when we're looking at the level 1 talents, we can already tell that most of the teams rely a lot on stacking talents on level 1 here. As we are seeing for Vala in this case. Not the push build. Multi-shot is extremely popular these days again, but instead it's the arrow build, which can be very strong of course too, and gives you a bit more self-sustain in case that you need that. Night Take Spawn is also taken here, and that is of course also another great talent that allows Johanna to just push these lanes back and help with the defense on the web weavers. An interesting part is that without any heroes that really rely on auto attack damage on the side of Roccat, we're now having Muradin going into a Stormbolt build. He went into Perfect Storm on level 1, and that will also help them with Sledgehammer then later on to do a lot of damage against these structures. So it's something where especially Roccat has to be quite careful later on. For now, it's at the bot lane Hazorps who's in trouble, and he is getting blown to pieces here. BKB eating a lot of the tower damage, and so does also in this case Kuni-chan and this Johanna. But yep, well done. So in this case, good kill for Team Virtus Pro. They are starting to get a slight lead in experience. Nothing like too fancy. It will definitely even out again once that those creep waves or minion waves collide. We have the mid lane rotation again here on the side of Virtus Pro. On this map it's mostly about rotations between the mid lane and the top lane, but we've seen a few variations where teams were starting to rotate towards the bottom instead of the top to also put pressure on solo heroes like Zagara, which in this case was banned out. But another good rotation to the top is now dropping Malfurion again. Roccat with a solid effort here. Level 4 talents now for both of the teams, and that of course continues the arrow build on the side of Vala. We're having Snowstorm as already expected earlier for our Jaina player, and it is in this case retaliation for Johanna, which allows her to get that cooldown on Condemn even lower. Usually you follow that up with Battle Momentum on level 7, and then you can get an insane amount of Condemns out during those team fights. Sledgehammer for Muradin, as already announced, is going to help him with the damage against structures later on. And again, an attempted kill. This time it looks like we could see a kill against... Oh, Shadowma! Yes, Uther goes down. They're trying to turn things around against BKB and Kuni-chan, but it's still Virtus Pro that is driving them back. Well done so far by the Russian team here. 4 kills against 4. I'm really liking this game. This is already fun. Perfect start into the best of 3 series. Both of the teams, they come out swinging, and I like that a lot. You've seen a couple of very aggressive games yesterday already, but this is definitely a highlight. Yeah, Chris with a very optimistic gravity lapse here, trying to just lift one of the heroes up, but the only thing that he catches is a minion. We have also Boundless Conviction taken on level 4, the Spider Cluster. It was one of the talents you would of course expect here on level 4 for the Zebo. The rotation to the top lane is starting to threaten Muradin. BKB goes down, and wow! I mean, the rotations from both of these teams are pretty crazy right now. Always moving with 3 or 4 heroes even on the map and trying to just like get a few more damage points in. Very well played here. The damage from the Web Weavers is also going to help them to catch more experience now. So the Web Weavers are starting to move in for the red team, for Team Rocket, and level 7 should hit for both of the teams at roughly the same time. Andilendi is still here present in the mid lane. They need to meet those Web Weavers, and they have 40 gems, by the way, that they also need to turn in. So if they are losing a hero or 2 now, that would be backfiring pretty hard. Fission Bomb already taken. We saw the Legion of Beetles on level 4, and now the Leeching Scarabs for Anubarak. Good synergy between the level 4 and level 7 talent here for him. It's a little bit surprising to me that he didn't go for better barbs, but Anubarak has quite a few builds that are all absolutely viable. Paralyzing Rage over the Ghastly Reach, which we oftentimes see. Leoric, another one of these heroes where we have a lot of potential builds for him available. And, of course, the full Stormbolt build by now for Muradin. The push-up at the top lane, taking 2 of the towers down, but we already saw the defense here. And oh my god, that was a bit uncalled for. Hazorbs with a solo kill against Johanna. That shouldn't have happened. That's a lot of gems that they all of a sudden lost. Andilendi is a bit too late to deal with that. And in the top lane, the push for Rocket even continues. They did not go for the Toad build on the Zebo, but instead they went straight for Gitbin. So strong talents for them as well, and of course, as expected, battle momentum for Johanna with now enduring growth on the side of Malfurion. Still, that kill at the bot lane against Johanna, solo from Hazorbs, was absolutely gigantic. That was a huge play there. Not only did Virtus Pro, because of that, miss out on a bit of experience, but more so they lost quite a few gems because of it. So well played here by Hazorbs, gets his team ahead in the series. Or well, not in the series quite yet, but at least in this particular map. Siege Giant Camp, captured at the bot lane. Unstable, should be very careful. There's 4 heroes moving in, he had no idea, and now he's just lifted up by Gravity Labs. Well done. Yep, Kelthas definitely lifts, but he also gets a Stormbolt to the face and barely survives. And, well, as I say, he actually dies. A bit too much damage for him, and Anubarak now as well. It started off with a kill against Malfurion, but then the rotation of Virtus Pro came into play. They moved in from the mid lane and were able to drop 2 of these targets. Has still the potential for another turn-in pretty soon, since we have 29 additional gems now on the side of Rocket, so they could try and do that. To the bot lane, BKB is just firing up another Stormbolt against the structures. And for him, with the perfect Storm as the level 1 talent, it's really easy to just like get these structures extremely low. Later on, he should be in a position where just 2 Stormbolts hammer a tower into the ground, or 3 at the most. Another turn-in attempt here by Shadowma. And yeah, they're just trying to get rid of as many of the gems as they possibly can. As in the mid lane, a kill against Kelthas is again putting Virtus Pro into a 5 versus 4 position. They're playing this really safe. Now we have 7 kills versus 7 this early in the game, and they're still threatening the towers. The rotation to the bot lane is forcing Hazorbs to also escape here. It's a lot of damage actually that it can get in. If you isolate a hero with a good Stormbolt, and then Andilendi moves in with a Blizzard, and Sefkaja with a Puncturing Arrow, and Hungering Arrow delivers additional damage to a single target, that is so much damage in this case. Both of the teams now on level 10. We're having Avatar, Tranquility, Blessed, Shield, Water Elemental, and Strafe taken for Virtus Pro. And looking to the right side, we have Rocket going into Gary the Gargantuan. Once again, the Phoenix being used here. Cocoon on the side of Zocker for his Anubarak, and he uses it already, turning one of the Virtus Pro heroes into a Pinata, and they are not beating him up just yet, but Unstable is coming out again with Tranquility. Divine Shield saving Kelthas for now. March of the Black King also utilized, and they are straight going going for a kill against not only Vala, but maybe even Jaina. She barely escapes and gets healed by Malfurion. The Web Weavers for the blue team are descending, but we have Roccat pushing in and not even caring about this. Bam! Down goes tower number 1, the second one about to die here. They could actually easily drop that with just Hazorb supplying the leaping spiders again, but now they have to rotate over and make sure that the rest of the lanes is not going to get destroyed by Virtus Pro here. Russian team again with an attempt to just push them back. 8 kills against 7. A pretty sick opening into the game here today. I'm liking it. To the bot lane we see Andilendi and Unstable now starting to move in again, dropping the well already. That's going to make it easier for them. And with 4 heroes at the bot lane, it's going to be an easy drop at the fort. They destroy the structures and also focus now on the tower. Even the walls are not safe here, making sure that there's as little vision as possible for their opponents. Great move. I'm liking this a lot, especially at the top lane. These 2 walls, that's something that the teams need to destroy later if they want to go for boss, because they have quite a bit of vision and can guarantee that you are going to be scouted out if you try to go for a boss kill. Talking about kills, and Nuborak just gets deleted. I mean, that was a shift delete right there. He's not even in the trash bin anymore. He got annihilated within a second. Bam! And the all the bug gets squashed. So very well done here by Virtus Pro, and now suddenly they find themselves in a slight lead, heading towards this camp at the left side. The Bruiser camp is now taken. And in terms of gems, we still have a potential turn-in for Virtus Pro, and also, by the way, for their opponents. Both of the teams can actually turn in. Well, actually, we have only 43-45 on the side of Virtus Pro, so they need 10 more if they really want to turn in. I actually thought they already delivered a few early on, but they didn't. The last Web Weaver wave was theirs. We only need 10 more for Roccat, though, and then they will have another one. So let's find out how exactly they're going to play it here. Unstable, Sefka and Andilendi currently in position where they are trying to assist that Bruiser camp in the mid lane to put a bit more pressure onto the fort, but they can also control these 2 turning points again. At this point, already going for level 13 talents, and here we go. We have, in this case, 2 ice blocks. The improved ice block for Jaina and the ice block on Malfurion. Again, the attempt to take down a Nuborak, but this time Shadowmar is ready with the Divine Shield. As you can see, there's also Burning Rage now. Nezebo actually down here, dying to Vala after all, but Vala, oh my god, just barely survives thanks to the tranquility of Unstable and his heals. That was really close. Looked for a second like Kalthas would be able to blow her up. The kill against Nezebo now, and also against Uther, really well played, and that allows Virtus Pro to start to take a huge lead in experience here. We have level 13 ready for Roccat as well, and they are running a spell shield on their own. We have Vala with their arrow build on a spell shield, and also in this case a Nuborak now, since he was one of the main targets for Virtus Pro throughout the entire game. It's finally also chain bomb time for Kalthas, but another turn-in is now descending the Red Web Weavers once again, and they are starting to use that. Sport Billy with another 28 gems that he can turn in later. They are actually at 53 right now, so if they just gather up a few more gems, they will have another turn-in ready once that the Web Weaver wave was defeated against. So let's find out how they're going to deal with this. We have currently also on level 13 now the Crushing Hope talent taken. An Ice Block for Nezebo. He lost Sprint on 13, and ever since then this is the only sustain talent that he's really using on the level 13. Once again, they're starting to move in at the mid lane with the defense here. We have everybody just rushing to the aid of the Web Weaver on the side of Roccat, and of course Virtus Pro is trying to defend, but the well is already down, the Phoenix in play. And the Phoenix is actually isolating Andilendi, driving a bit of a wedge between the team of Virtus Pro. Andilendi can't really do too much. He tries to flank, and now he has an opportunity to do that again. He's not meeting up with the rest of the team yet, but the Web Weavers are still pushing the bot lane, and also the one at the top lane is pushing this back a bit. Sport Billy with 31 gem on his own. BKB moving in, and yeah, that skeleton swing, of course, with that extra slow that we are seeing on level 7 is really making it difficult for Hero to escape if he gets locked down, but with the leap on the side of Muradin, he could just jump away. At the bot lane, the Web Weaver with the assistance of Roccat able to take down the fort. We had 2 of the tanks up in the mid lane, but Zoka in a bit of trouble here, needs to use his escape to get away. BKB is flanking though, gets a double stun in, Water Elemental is in play, and immediately in the back line we have the Strafe being used, but in immediate cocoon on the side of Zoka is interrupting Sefka with his heroic ability. Divine Shield already down to save Nezebo, and at the same time Johanna is moving in, trying to condemn them once again, and Tranquility healing everybody up. The snipe against Kalthas, down goes Anuburak. Malfurion is super low, but he's in the back line, no problem for him to stay alive. Once again we are seeing Sport Billy moving away. BKB drops though. Great kill against Muradin. Sport Billy with a crushing hope, and he secured most of the gems. They still lost a few though, and it's now level 16 versus level 14. The 16 talents for Virtus Pro are ready in this first game of the best of 3 series here in the losers bracket, and we're having a hardened focus on Malfurion. We're seeing on the side of Jaina now the northern exposure for the extra damage against targets, trying to burst down a few of the opponents. One blood for blood on Vala, that gives her even a bit more sustain in these fights, and we're seeing Johanna still hesitating a bit. She has a couple of options here, could even go for Blessed Hammer, which I think would be the perfect talent for her to take. If you go for Retaliation on level 4 and Battle Momentum on level 7, then going for Blessed Hammer will just ensure that you get even more damage out in those team fights, and also of course against the minion waves. So it should be Blessed Hammer. No real needs to go for, let's say, Imposing Presence here. Of course, Fanaticism is another talent that you could potentially take, but so far I don't really think that Johanna had too much trouble staying alive in these team fights. Level 16 is still a bit away for Roccat, and in the mid lane there's another attack against the fort, and Virtus Pro is playing a very solid game here. The Web Weavers have descended again, and the objective is starting to threaten the wall at the keep to the top lane, but in the mid lane, that's where the rest of the Russian team is trying to push their advantage. And we have seen them exploit these advantages yesterday already. Once again, the teams are moving in. So far, Roccat is still not down. They are fighting, they are waiting, and we have Holy Renewal taken. Holy Renewal now for the extra heals on Johanna. Interesting talent to take. I really expected Blessed Shield with the first 3 talents that were taken by the hero, but apparently self-sustain is what Johanna is going for right now. Talking about self-sustain, up to the top lane, we're having Hazops making sure that this lane is not falling just yet. Their level 16 talent is very close now, and that will put them on the same talents again as their opponents. The Bruiser camp is attacked. I don't really think that Roccat can do... Nah, they can't move in and try to contest it. But now we have level 16 for both of the teams. Arcane Barrier, finally an option here for Khaldor, and they're also running, in this case now, the Unyielding Despair. No synergy with a potential double swing, but oh, Malfurion in a lot of trouble, and he gets erased. Very well done. Again, the Web Pinata here by Anubarak, and they move in with a potential kill. Great wall of zombies, already the Frost block, Ice block being used, but Jaina is about to die in an amazing move here on the side of Roccat. Great team fight for them. They kill 2 heroes, Uther dies on the other hand for them, but still, they find themselves in a pretty decent position, and they're trying to go for BKB now too. Hazops, the attempt to lock Muradin down, but they did not get the chance yet. We still have the Web Weavers moving in, so we saw Roccat turn in, and now they can maybe close this gap in experience. They're currently close to level 17, but they're still an entire level behind. And with the attempt to drop a few of the structures, they could actually try and get these forts eliminated. Already Anubarak up at the top lane. They are still in a 4 versus 4 situation now that one of the heroes is already back to business, but Jaina is still missing, and there was a lot of the damage for the opponent's team. BKB jumping away in the last second here. It was a nice attempt with the wall of zombies. This fort is definitely going to fall, and up at the top lane it looks like the Web Weaver is also going to be able to drop the second one. They are closing the gap. They are starting to get closer and closer to Virtus Pro here. We have 11 kills versus 13s. The team's definitely on eye level. Kuni-chan already moving away, but the top lane is falling regardless. The gem count, 11 to 34 at this point. Still a lot of gems that we're seeing for Roccat. If they can turn in again after those Web Weavers, they won't get a full turn in, of course, but they will get close, and the top lane is still being pressured. They take down the towers as fast as they can. They find themselves still a bit behind in experience, but it's definitely a much better position for them than it was before. So they need 65 of the gems. Again, BKB moving in from the side, trying to flank, trying to lock down Sport Billy. Needs to be careful. There's still a level missing for Virtus Pro before they can head into level 20 and their extra talent. And talking Virtus Pro, they have enough talents and enough gems to actually turn in again if they get control over one of the turn-in spots. Over here, they're starting to move straight into the mid lane, trying to contest exactly that. Kuni-chan is turning in, but he only has 2 gems. That won't help. They need BKB and Sevka to get rid of theirs. Then a kill attempt against Leoric, and they get him. Leoric down, and now they're moving in once again with a 5 versus 4 situation. They are pushing Roccat back. unstable already with his Tranquility on Malfurion, but the Tranquility duration is over. It's still the hunt on Nazebo. The hunt is on, and has Ops. He can't escape here any longer. No assistance, no Divine Shield. Uther was a bit too far away. Shadowman was actually trying to move in, but he was just late for it. And now they could theoretically even go for boss. I mean, they can try and get level 20, go for boss, and then turn in, but it doesn't really look like it's something that they can really accomplish here. Level 20, they need another wave for that to happen, so they play it safe. They go for the turn in and get the Web Weavers again. We have Kuni-chan already moving down to the bot lane, and with his Condemn he should easily be able to get level 20 for them, and also of course get this wave cleared up so that the Web Weavers start a bit later. By now we have the 20 talents, and that means one Storm Shield. We could see a potential second one, but no, it's no Storm Shield, not even indestructible for Johanna. Instead we're seeing the Radiating Faith with the increased range on the Blessed Shield, and also the additional bounces. Pretty decent talent here. They want to have more control during these fights. We have now only level 16 talents for the opponent. Benediction of course helps. Again, the Divine Shield had to be used early, and this is putting Roccat into a very awkward position. Divine Shield already gone, Phoenix as well, and they have no hope of keeping this keep alive, no pun intended. The Web Weaver is here yet, and at the bot lane and the top lane we're seeing even more pressure. And with a level 20 talent, this is an amazing position for Virtus Pro to be in. Only thing that Roccat can do is try and stay alive long enough, but they are most likely going to lose another keep during the process here. They are starting to move up to the top lane, Virtus Pro that is, to focus one of the keeps down, and they will get that wish granted. Down the keep goes, and therefore we have 2 keeps eliminated and only 1 alive. And an entire level, that's what we are currently seeing as a disadvantage for Roccat. They are trying to of course get these waves down, and especially Khaldor is helping with the living bombs here, but still, Virtus Pro, they are trying to finish this even. If they get a kill here against a hero like Leoric, they are just going to go straight for core. So BKB jumping back, Water Elemental has been used but will be bursted down, and Roccat stays alive to fight another day. It's only the first game of the best of 3 series, only game number 1. 2 maps have to be won to advance through the bracket, and of course the next opponent will also be determined later. Na'Vi and Team Liquid are facing each other in the next match here in the losers bracket, and the winner of that series is going to go up against the victor of Roccat versus Virtus Pro. But we're only in the first game, and Roccat is trying to get level 20. They are behind. They did not take down a single keep just yet. All the keeps on the side of Virtus Pro are still alive, but there could still be an opportunity for Roccat to turn this around. Boss wasn't taken yet, and they're double checking. Spiders can be thrown, and yep, there they are, so absolutely nothing happening here. Spiders just having a look at the boss. That's a fight that they don't want to take. So in this case, they don't have to be afraid of anything, and they will get the level 20. They will get level 20, and there it is. That means Hardened Shield for, well, both of the tanks actually. Not only for Leoric, but also in this case for Nubarak. Death March would have been a possibility. A double Bolt of the Storm and Redemption. So it's more like sustained talents for all of the heroes, by the way. Every single hero has now a better chance to stay alive during the duration, so this is going to be interesting as well. At the same time now we are seeing in regards to damage and also deaths that especially Malfurion was one of the priority targets on the side of Virtus Pro. He was being taken out all the time. Khaldor, by the way, is missing, and Roccat is moving away once again. So it's just barely getting away here. Khaldor's up to the top lane right now. Leoric was rushing away during the fight here once more. Khaldor's, by the way, with 140,000 siege damage. We have 200,000 on the other hand on the side of Johanna. Johanna could have gotten even more siege damage if she would have gone for that talent that I've been talking about earlier on level 16, Blessed Shield, instead of the Sins Exposed. But again, the 2 teams about to clash here in the mid lane at the turn-in spot. Enough gems on the side of Roccat. They could get that turn-in. If they can make that happen, then maybe that's the momentum that they need to really keep the dream alive of winning game number 1 here. They are trying to do that. Sport Billy is already up at the front, and there it is. Hazorps is already starting to move down. BKB is there. Sefka, both of them eating quite some damage from the living bombs here, and Sefka needs to pop his Iron Skin, or his Stone Form already. Uses the Stone Form. They're both moving in. Phoenix still for the zoning. Nobody really low just yet, but they're driving Virtus Pro back. Roccat is playing a decent fight here. Both of the summonings are about to die. Gary is dead, and the Water Elemental is about to get dropped now too. And we're having, again, a very, very solid position here for Roccat. Sevka already with the damage though, and a stun bring him out of strafe once more. It is Leoric moving in with a paralyzing rage, trying to get them slowed down. Andilendi is in trouble and pops the ice block in the last second, but here comes the Pinata again against Malfurion, but a kill against Uther. He's going to be back to business though, and now they go for Kunichan. They know that Malfurion can't heal anybody just yet. Vala dead, Jaina dead, and they're moving straight in for Malfurion again. That old geezer cannot move away, especially with Sport BD slowing him down once more. The Phoenix is back to business, and this is a triple kill for Roccat. Of course, Uther is back to business, and now they can move in, and they can even take boss. They can take boss, or they can go in and try to take the turn in. They can get both. BKB, on the other hand, he's the one who really has that extra damage on his Stormbolt right now, but he has to move away before he dies. Only the two tanks are alive, and Roccat doesn't give a damn. They move in for the boss, and they are going to try to take it. Kunichan is rushing in, but there's absolutely nothing that he can do. He can delay it a bit, but that's all that he can accomplish here. The boss is going to be taken, and then Roccat will turn in, and that's exactly what they do right now. They take the boss, and they go to the turn-in spot, and they're trying to turn in. And if they do that, they might also able to get a kill, because right now it looks like Kunichan and Muradin are pretty tempted to try and prevent that. They're moving back for now. They know exactly what they risk here. So this turn-in is going to be brutal. But the lanes are pushed against Roccat. So only the mid lane will really push. They need to make it happen with the boss. They can't rely on the web weavers now. So they are starting to go straight into the top lane, where the first keep is already being attacked. Virtus Pro might lose this one. They definitely will, I think. And they are going straight for it once again. So pretty decent position here for Roccat now, at least for the fight here. Again, the March of the Black King used. Sport Billy is already moving away, and that keep is falling. The Web Weavers are starting to push the lanes back, but is Roccat really trying to go for core with the boss? They could attempt to do it, but it's a 5 versus 5 underneath the core and the keep. Not quite sure if they are biting off a bit too much there. BKB is rather low though, and already the and Nubarak is dead, and Shadowmar is about to die as well. They lose not only him, but they also lose again Uther, and that is going to be a full kill this time. Nazebo is down, and Roccat, I have no idea why they moved in for this. It would have been a tough game for them with with only one keep alive, but now they just lost the match. They were trying to go in and drop the core with the help of the boss, but they were fighting underneath the core and also the fort here, or the keep, and that was definitely just a bit too much. So unfortunately for Roccat, they were a bit too greedy here in the end, and therefore Virtus Pro is going to take it. Solid defense here against the boss and against the opponent's team. They go for core and are about to finish game number 1, and this is of course it. We will see game number 2 coming up in just a few seconds between Roccat and Virtus Pro here at the Enter the Storm in the loser bracket, the best of 3 series between these two top European pro teams. Virtus Pro victorious on 2 of the Spider Queen. A pretty back and forth match there actually, and especially in kills the teams were pretty even, but right now we have the lead for Virtus Pro. So Roccat is down in the best of 3 series. If they really want to advance, they have to win 2 matches in a row, and that's not going to be easy. The map that they chose here is actually Dragonshire, which is a very strong map for Virtus Pro as well. They're playing this together with Raynor now. So Raynor and Zagara are being played, and the 2 of them can of course really pack a punch. And at the same time, when we're looking at the setup that is being run by Virtus Pro, it's a very similar setup to what we've seen in the first game. At least the backbone of the team is the same. Once again, a Vala and a Jaina for damage, and a Muradin as the front line. They don't have Malfurion for additional lockdown and AoE heal. In this case, it's actually Rega that they play, but it's still pretty reminiscent of what we've seen in the last game. So the idea seems to be, once again, control the objectives, make sure that they get far ahead, and Virtus Pro is usually really well coordinated on this map in particular. If it works against Roccat, that's of course one of the things that we're going to find out right now. Roccat is eager to tie the series up and force a 3rd game. If they're successful, that's something we're going to find out now together on Dragonshire. So let's jump straight into game number 2 between Virtus Pro and Roccat. Game number 2 is on, and we are on Dragonshire, which interestingly enough is the map choice of Roccat and not of Virtus Pro. Usually it's a map that Virtus Pro loves to play, so I don't really think that they minded the decision of Roccat here too much. We currently have to the left side of the map a Muradin, played by BKB for Virtus Pro. Kunichan is playing Leoric, Unstable is playing Rega. We're having Andilendi playing Jaina, and Sevka on Vala. To the right side of the map, Roccat down 1 game in the best of 3 series here with Zocca on Arthur's. Hazobs on Zagara, Sport Billy on Anubarak, Shadowmar playing Uther, and Chris on Raynor. So yeah, pretty nice setup for both of the teams. Yeah, I'm actually liking it quite a bit, and this map is one of the most demanding when it comes to team communication and coordination. So I'm very, very excited to see Dragonshire this early already. So this is going to be good. Auto attack build, by the way, this time on the side of Serkaja. That's the beautiful thing about Vala. There's 3 builds on Vala right now, and that doesn't even include a few of the hybrid builds that you can play. And you can adjust to your team's strategy and team composition accordingly. She's probably the best example of how great the talent system actually works. There's very few builds that do not work on Vala, and most of them they even work in certain setups. But for now, it's an auto attack build that she's going to choose here. We have 2 hit point heavy tanks, or at least 1 hit point heavy tank on the side of Team Roccat, so they are going to try and deliver some damage with the auto attacks here. And if they get the lockdown with heroes like Muradin and then the burst damage from Jaina, Vala might be able to deliver the final points to really drop a target here. Other builds that work for Vala, especially in the Korean scene, are multi-shot, for example, and on a map like Dragonshire, you oftentimes also see the arrow build, because you find yourself more often than not in 1 versus 1 battles on the shrines, and then you're of course just trying to not only survive, but get the damage against a single target in. The Q build in general is a build that you see very often also against melee assassins, because it gives you a bit more survivability. Talking about Rocket's setup, one of the more important parts for them, of course, is that Raynor build with Seasoned Marksman. You're trying to just roam between the lanes. That's exactly what Chris is doing right now. So it's very common either way, even without Seasoned Marksman heroes, to just rotate between 2 lanes, but in this case it's even more important. And wow, are they going deep. BKB is going extremely deep here, maybe a bit too deep. He gets stunned and he gets taken out. Too aggressive on the start for Virtus Pro and Roccat. They get their kill. Currently down to the bot lane, we're currently having Chris moving in again, and he's of course just trying to secure himself even more stacks for his Seasoned Marksman by taking 2 of the waves down, the wave at the bot lane and the one up the top. Talking about the top, Jaina actually taken out now, and this is going to be a super early Dragon Knight in this case for Team Roccat. 2 minutes in, they get the Dragon Knight, they move in right away. Great performance here early on in the match. We're seeing them on level 4 now, not only with the Boundless Conviction and Focused Attack, but it's also again the Locust Needles for Anubarak. The builds for Anubarak have been changing a lot, and you can really adapt to the situation. Zoka, for example, this time on Anubarak, Sport Billy is this time on Anubarak. Zoka in the last game went for a Beetle build with a focus on level 1 for Regeneration Master, whereas this time it is Sport Billy that just tries to get a bit more siege damage out. If you go for the AoE talents on level 4 and level 7, you get great siege damage out on the Anubarak, but Hazobs up here is in too much trouble on his Zagara. Kuni-chan, Anilendi and BKB doing exactly what I said earlier, trying to lock them down with 2 of the heroes, and Jaina delivering the burst damage that is needed to drop a target like Zagara. Of course, Manticore on level 4 is now the talent that has been taken for Vala for the extra damage on the auto attacks. We're seeing now with Snowstorm another great tool that will help Jaina to secure the damage with Blizzard. And in level 7 you can then also expect the auto attack increase with a single from Vala, just simply going for the searing attacks. That's going to be a great talent for her then. And one thing that I'm very curious about is the level 13 and the level 16 follow-up. Because on 13, it's very likely that we're going to see Giant Killer. And if you really want to make sure that you get a lot of auto attack damage out there, you could theoretically even go for Executioner, which we see occasionally taken if you have a team that has a few slows. And there's Rhaegar, that has of course the Totem. There's also potential paralyzing rage for Leoric, and let's not forget about the stuns on the slows that we're seeing from Jaina and Muradin. So there's actually quite a bit that he can do, and one of that is stunning out Sport Billy, who just barely gets away. BKB jumps the edge now and tries to go in, but once again a bit too deep, and he dies again. BKB sometimes with a bit of tunnel vision there, in this case not realizing that the opponent's team was just very close and dives in, and that's now 3 kills against 1. With the level 7 talents, we're having now the Piercing Bolt. We see in this case the Searing attacks taken as expected, Hardened Bones and Lingering Apparition on the side of Leoric. And when we're looking at the red team, we're having Revolution Overdrive taken. Both of the healers went into Cleanse and Rapid Incubation over the potential we could have seen, I guess, Battle Momentum or also the Endless Free, but it is Rapid Incubation for the Self-Sustain and the Bed of Barbs in this case right now. So the bot lane already pressured pretty hard. Up at the top lane, we're seeing Sefka and Kunichan trying to go for some counter pressure, taking one of the structures down. And of course, Sefka's build here helps now a lot. Searing attacks already used, and you can really tell that against single targets, the build that we're seeing from Sefka does just enormous damage. But later on in the game, Chris is going to get exactly that as well. Both of these heroes might even rely on Nexus Frenzy on 20. It depends a bit on Vala, actually. Oftentimes, Vala players decide to go into the Bolt of the Storm instead, but Reyna players these days, when going for Seasoned Marksman, usually decide that they want to have the extra attack speed and head straight into Nexus Frenzy and leave it up to the rest of the team to really keep them alive. And in this case, there's even a Divine Shield available on a hero like Uther to make sure that Reyna is not going to kick it. Right now, we're having Zokke moving in again in the mid lane. They're trying to zone for Sportbile, and they get their second Dragon Knight. Wow! The coordination here for Team Roccat is amazing. They're doing a great job. The early Dragon Knight, of course, didn't really do too much damage. I mean, it was 2 minutes in, and these bad boys, they scale over time. So the first one didn't really drop too many structures, but now Sportbile is trying to rush into the mid lane with the help of the rest of the team, and they are going for the 4th here. They're very close to level 10 now, and the heroic ability is going to help them as well. 3 kills against 1 so far in the game, and Sportbile moving out of the Blizzard range, jumping in again, Breath of Fire everywhere. Leoric is up at the top lane trying to secure themselves some EXP, and here we have now Hyperion, Locust Swarm taken as the heroic abilities, the Divine Shield for Uther, and I suppose at this point we are going to see Arthurs, maybe even with Syndragosa, but if they just try to go into normal fights, then they will rely on the Army of the Dead here. There's a bit of AoE damage thanks to Jaina, but not too much, so you could definitely go for the army if you wanted to. An Army of the Dead has been taken indeed, as did the Maw for Zagara for potential disengage and also setups. You can use Syndragosa together with a Maw if you want to lock the targets down, but you can also use the Howling Blast if you hit that Maw already. Well, in this case, we're having in the mid lane Hazorps just trying to establish a foothold thanks to the creep that he spreads everywhere. You can really tell that he's just getting vision for the rest of the team to make sure that nobody's going to get surprised later on. Bruiser camp taken at the bot lane, and when you have the map control like this, you should always try to take as many of the mercenary camps as you can. Both of the teams are now on level 10, and of course Virtus Pro, they know that it's likely that Roccat is trying to take their own Bruiser camp now, so they rotated over to the left. They have their own heroic abilities now with the Rain of Vengeance on Vala. And I want to highlight that again, even though I talked about it yesterday. Oftentimes when you see an auto-attack build for Vala, the Vala players decided to go into Rain of Vengeance over Strafe, since in the past you would lose all of your hatred stacks if you go into Strafe. Once the Strafe duration is over, you would pop out with 0 hatred stacks, and that was really annoying. But there was a bit of a ninja buff to Strafe, so right now if you use Strafe as a Vala auto-attack damage dealer, you will still have the same amount of hatred stacks when you come out of Strafe, so you can go into both heroic abilities on the hero right now again, and don't have to automatically go straight into Rain of Vengeance, which is still a great talent. It's still a cool talent to have. Nice steal, by the way. So in this case, oh, they're actually trying to get at least 1 kill out of that, but that was a pretty cool steal that we saw from Team Roccat here. Moving in and stealing this away, but they are going to lose. Zokke, who got locked down by the Rain of Vengeance that we just talked about. The counter kill against Leoric is helping though, and once again a bit of a brawl there with a nice Maw against 2 heroes, and they should have enough stuns up to really get those. Oh yes, and they do. Unstable is down, BKB saves himself with a quick Storm Bolt, but already cleanse used, and Sportbile is therefore in hot pursuit, but is not able to lock BKB down. But they can still push the top lane, and we have still Chris with his Reyna in position to maybe get a few more stacks. Talking about the stacking process on Reyna, we currently have him on 22 stacks thanks to the rotations at the beginning of the game when he was moving between the mid and the bot lane. 23 now, so pretty solid position for him. 8 minutes, 9 minutes into the game, that's a pretty decent amount, so he's going to get a lot of damage out there. The level 13 talents are also going to pop any second now for Team Roccat, and that gives them finally the Giant Killer for good old Reyna. And against Leoric and Muradin, oh boy, is that gonna hurt later. Especially, of course, with that avatar form on Muradin. We're also seeing Burning Rage, Mutalisk, Shrink Ray to control that front line a bit. And against all the stuns that are available and the slows, we're having Relentless taken for Arthur, so didn't even bother to go into Spell Shield, didn't really have to. There's way too many stuns and also other slows, though, that the pick on Relentless is a pretty easy one. Yeah, Virtus Pro, they don't really want to fight here right now, but they kind of have to, and Rhaegar, before the Ancestral Healing kicks, is taken out. So is Muradin. Things are not looking good for Virtus Pro at this point. The shrines are up again, and that could result in another Dragonite for Roccat, and they are starting to threaten the keeps now. A lot of damage against Sefkaja. Chris is doing a fair amount of damage with his build here, and just looking at the hero damage at this point, we have 16,000 for Reynor. He is the top damage dealer in the game at this point, and he doesn't even have the potential Nexus friends later on, and the season marksman stacks are not all that high yet. Once again, Hazops is starting to move in with another Dragonite, and instead of going for keep, they decide to go up to the fort to drop the last one in the game. As you can see here, Hazops and his boys are now up against a team that has also level 13 talents. Virtus Pro picking up Thunder Strike, Burning Rage. We have Healing Surge, Improved Ice Block, and Giant Killer as expected for Vala. And in this case, right now, Vala will have to try and really drop these hit point heavy heroes at the front line as fast as possible. With Healing Surge, Vega is of course already starting to work towards the tidal waves, which will allow him to get that chain heal out over and over again, thanks to the damage or to the cooldown reduction. We've even seen teams like Virtus Pro going on level 7 for the forward momentum, which is a battle momentum variation that Rhaegar uses. It does not subtract from the cooldown on his heroic ability, but it subtracts double the amount from his basic abilities, and that is of course crazy good if you just want to get your chain waves. For now, Hazops is starting to move in with the Dragonite again, trying to keep him alive for as long as possible, and here we go, they're starting to go in. Already the March of the Black King has been used, Waterman is in play as well, Leoric is down before the fight even starts, so is Vala. Great kill here, good heal against Hazops, very well done here, the Divine Shield in play, and it's a triple kill. 10 kills against 2 in favor of Team Roccat, and they secure themselves level 16, and Reynor is going as expected, full damage. Executioner here for him now as well. He's just saying, bring it boys, nobody can touch me, I'm going to deliver the damage in these fights, and he is a menace right now. The damage output that he has is insane. The auto attacks are dropping BKB so fast that the dwarf doesn't even know what hit him. And right now, if you look at the damage, we already have him at 25,000. That's just 10,000 in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, he pushed out 10,000 damage, and of course, this is only going to increase as he is increasing his season marksman stacks as well. And Chris is just roaming the lanes again in the map, trying to just get more minion kills in here. And he is doing an amazing job with this. So at this point, Virtus Pro find themselves in a very uncomfortable position where they are 3 levels down already. The combo that they have doesn't really work out as intended. Sefka is struggling a lot to keep himself alive and deliver the auto attack damage that he needs to get in against the opponent's heroes. Bot lane is being captured right now, and Anilendi is actually supplying the AoE damage that they need to burst down the entire camp and get the mercenary camp for now, and also denied of course to the opponent. The problem is that Sefka is cut off and stunned out. They're moving straight in for the kill. Hyperion already used. Nice heal! Sefka kept alive by the ancestral healing, and now he's going for spot healing, but the Divine Shield is helping Anubarak out. Anubarak already moving away, and Leorki is dying once again. He's getting just pummeled in the ground every single time. We have the camp still starting to push in, but so far not even a single fort has been lost by Team Roccat, and Roccat is now at the bot lane pushing in even further. On Chris, we have now 35 extra damage thanks to Season Marksman, which is extremely solid. He's going to have 36 in just a second. We're 13 minutes into the game. 13 minutes and he already has this much damage, which is absolutely remarkable. He's the one going for the dragon statue right now, and they're getting another Dragonite. Roccat has been dominant on this map. Very, very dominant. Great and well done. They're starting to move in again, and they can take down a second keep down here. Hazops saving himself. Nice disengage here with a Maw. There's no follow-up for stuns. Sport Billy a bit far out, but the Dragonite is ignoring all of that, and Chris is basically just saying, yeah guys, you occupy them, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to make sure that I am going to take down another keep. And that's exactly what he's trying to do. Down here, it's a 5 versus 4 fight, and it looks like Leorki might actually die again. No, Kuni-chan moves away in the last second. There's nobody to really hunt him down. But as you can already tell in the mid lane, Chris is doing his job quite well on his Dragonite and is about to drop another keep. They are about to drop keep number 2, and they still have a huge lead, not only in experience but also in talents. Level 16 talent now finally about to drop for Virtus Pro, and hell, it was about time, but it's very, very late. Double imposing presence, and now finally the tanks have a talent that allows them to stay alive a bit longer against somebody like Reynor. It's going to be difficult either way, but at least that is going to reduce his auto attack speed quite a bit. Also the tidal waves, a tool for Rhaegar to get those healing numbers out. northern exposure to allow them to burst down a target, and that's exactly what they need to do. Blood for blood with a bit of additional sustain for Vala, decided against the potential executioner, which has been picked by Reyna, as already mentioned before. And in this case, Reyna is now at, well, 35,000 hero damage. Of course, on this map in particular, you have to account for the dragon statues that are also a pretty big factor here. Reyna will have a pretty nice increase here in the stats because of that, but still, it's very solid damage for him, and Chris is at this point just an auto-attack nightmare. He is going to make sure that all of those tanks, even with imposing presence, are going to have a very tough life during all of the team fights, especially, of course, with that 3-level lead they're currently rocking here. We have, again, 11 kills against 2 overall in the game, up to the top lane. That's where Sport Billy is currently positioned. And Sport Billy is starting to move this lane back, but he cannot really stand there alone because, well, Inubarak is not really the tankiest hero. He can survive in the team fight, but against 2 or 3, he's going to be bursted down way too fast. And BKB is always very trigger happy on that Storm Bolt and tries to just lock his target down. So for now, we have Chris and the rest of the boys waiting for level 20. Very, very passive stance there, by the way, considering how far they are ahead. But Inubarak, one of the few heroes that they have with an escape, is just moving to the bot lane, soaking some of the experience. But he is very far out. And already, Muradin moving in, Sport Billy is rushing away. But they are about to have level 20. They could even just move up to the top lane and take it there. Doesn't really matter too much, I suppose. Yeah, but level 20, well... they need to kill 1 minion or 2, and there it is. So, yep, there we have it. Nexus Frenzy taken, and oh boy, Chris is going to get that all attack damage in. Double hardened shield, and they are already moving in. 37,000 damage on Reyna before the fight starts, and he is just moving in and gonna drop even more. Yep, there's the kill against Rhaegar already. No chance. Everybody else was already running away, but that Maw caught Rhaegar, and he didn't really have any chance there. We have by now Leoric with 3 deaths and Rhaegar with 4, but just look at that damage. Muradin down within a second is locked down by Sport Billy, and then there comes all the damage, and by now, of course, with the second keep already fallen, they don't even bother with another Dragon Knight anymore. They are just going straight for a core here. Kuni-chan is now dead as well. Reyna is racking up the points by now. We have him at this point with an overall damage boost. I actually don't even know on what he currently is there with his extra damage. He is on 47 season marksman stat. Solid damage, solid performance, and Roccat, they tie the series and force their opponent, Virtus Pro, into game number 3. Well played, the series is tied, and we're going to head into the third map in just a second. A very, very solid game by Roccat. They tie the series up. It's a 1-1. They win on Dragonshire, and that, of course, leads us once again into the third map of the series. One of the teams is going to be eliminated from the End of the Storm tournament, and the other team will advance to face either Team Liquid or Na'Vi. That is what we're going to find out in the next series, but for now, of course, map number 3 incoming, and it is Cursed Hollow. And one of the heroes that especially Roccat really likes to play on Cursed Hollow is Abathur. They play Abathur together with the Jaina, so they have a great copy potential here already, and we're also seeing them with Karazim as the healer here. There were a couple of bans on the healers in this particular setup. Uther and also Malfurion banned out, and that, of course, allowed still Virtus Pro to go into some interesting compositions, but they decided to actually pick Lili here. We have Lili as the healer for Virtus Pro, and that's not all. As damage, they also drafted now Sergeant Hammer, which is actually in itself already pretty incredible. So this is going to be pretty interesting. It's not only Sergeant Hammer, they're also running a Zagara here, so it's one against this double specialist play. Specialists are, of course, just another category. Usually they still have a lot of damage against heroes, but one of the things that they normally excel at is also siege damage, and that is something that, of course, these two heroes can definitely bring to the table. If that's going to be enough to take down Roccat, that's a completely different story, though. So the last map between the two teams here, it's all or nothing here on Cursed Hollow. Will Abathur be successful, or it's going to be the Sergeant Hammer composition? Let's find out together here. Game number 3 on Cursed Hollow at the End of the Storm. It is hammer time in game number 3. Roccat up against Virtus Pro, and the series is tied. The last map here will decide which team advances to the next round of the losers bracket and which team is out of the tournaments for good. To the left side of the map, we're currently seeing Virtus Pro with BKB on Arthurs, Andy Lendy on Zagara, Kuni-chan on Johanna, Unstable, yes, it is Lily, she's looking for adventure, and she's found it, and she is accompanied by Sergeant Hammer, played by Seth Kaja. Great heroes picked here, fun heroes, I'm liking it a lot. And to the right side of the map, we have Shadowmar on Karazim, we see Chris on Jaina, Sport Billy on Leoric, Zocca on Anubarak, and Hazops on Abathar. Abathar time here in the game. And yeah, we are going to have some fun with this one, because, well, Lily is a hero that you don't see too often, especially now that Karazim was released as well. One of the reasons that the hero is in play now is that 3 healers were banned in general, and Virtus Pro decided that they would rather play with Lily than simply go into Karazim. And we have also Sergeant Hammer as a last pick for the Russian team, and they are going to try and use her here with the advanced artillery, of course, on level 1. Lily, by the way, went into Conjurer's Pursuit. There's no melee assassin on the opponent's team, so he doesn't necessarily have to go into the Blinding Wind build, which is absolutely amazing if you're going up against a lot of auto-attack heroes, which they're not doing right now. Currently up to the top, we're seeing Sport Billy, of course, doing his thing. He's got this, just pushing lanes back. Andy Lendy is trying to stop him with Zagara. But down to the bot lane, this is where a lot of the party is going to happen, since Kuni-chan is playing Protect the Hammer here, and Sevka can do quite a bit. Those changes that we saw in Sergeant Hammer are actually pretty cool, and 2 heroes are not enough to stop Sevka here. In the early stages of the game, you don't really do so much damage just yet with the auto attacks, but that is of course going to increase pretty soon, but every single damage point that he can put on those towers is pretty strong. So right now we already have Karazim jumping in, there comes Zocca, he has also Abathar to help him out here, and this is one of the biggest threats now to Sevka in general, that this Abathar, well, Anubarak plus Abathar is even more important, that those 2 are jumping in and trying to take him down here. We have Transcendence taken for Karazim, of course, on level 1. And at the same time here, very standard talents. Sevka actually sieging up again and going straight back to work, taking down these structures. The top lane is so far pretty even, actually, between Sport Billy and Andy Lendy. Zagara is winning this slightly, but it doesn't really have a huge impact on the integrity of the structures here, of the wall. Once again, is of course Anubarak moving in, and Sevka is even thrustering away. I don't really think he had to do that just now, so now he's in cooldown. But we have also BKB moving down over, locking down Anubarak. They're trying to get him here, and Zocca needs to burrow charge back to safety, which he does immediately. Very nice moves here. Sevkaja already in position. Unstable, Kuni-chan, and of course Hammer starting to take position as the tribute spawns on the map. So we're going to see the first tribute in play in just a few seconds. Toxic Nest gets actually not taken out. It's still there and damages both of the heroes. But we have on level 4 now also. Schmelstrom shells taken. And Lingering Blind for the increased duration. 3 seconds instead of 2 now. So we have Lily up at the front trying to make sure that they're protecting Hammer even more. Once again, they're starting to go in, but Unstable is in a little bit of trouble. Already has to move away here. Using the Lingering Blind up to the top lane. Zagara is very much alone, and down here a kill against Anubarak is starting the entire process. Last second escape here by Sport Billy, thanks to the Lingering Apparition. But guess what? Up to the top lane, Andy Lendy is just doing Zagara things, taking down even more structures. And even with Leoric leaving the top lane, they could not secure that first tribute. Roccat find themselves in a bit of an awkward position right now. So we see at the bot lane now Sevkaja starting to move in again. We see Kuni-chan and Unstable helping out as already before. And in this case now we have at least the global mines that helps a bit, of course, for Abathar to just jump from bot to top lane later on to soak experience while the rest of the team is busy somewhere else. But this is really starting to pressure Roccat quite a bit. They are going to lose that wall down here at the bot lane. It's only the gate remaining, and up to the top Zagara already did a very solid amount of damage. And she's rotating again. Arthurs is going to take over the top lane, and Zagara is now trying to push the mid lane instead. At the bot lane, we're seeing in the meantime Sevka and Unstable very much alone. Kuni-chan actually, as Unstable had to move back on his Lily. Tribute spawning again at the bot lane, and the level 7 talents are giving Virtus Pro a bit of a lead there. Already taken as the level 7 talent now. First aid, we have Pitch Perfect also taken for the mana cost reductions. And as you can see, more importantly, the endless creep for Zagara, which is going to give them even more control on the map, and that's going to be absolutely crucial if you want to keep Sergeant Hammer alive. The Sergeant already sieged up again. She's in a really good spot there. Sevka thrusters away from Leoric and Zocca, but is going in deep once again for a potential kill. Zocca, oh my god, like he nearly needs to get out of this one. already making sure that he is at least able to shield up again. We have now level 7 talents for both of the teams in play, and that means Paralyzing Rage against for Leoric. We have the Ice Lance, very popular these days actually, not only on level 7 but also the Ice Lance talent on level 4, quite popular. With now the Echo of Heaven taken, we're seeing the Urticating Spines for the full AoE build on Nuborak, and Unstable is securing for his team now the second tribute, so a pretty solid position here again. The slow on all of the Toxic Nests for Abathur, who by the way took possession now up to the top lane, and is also using now his mines to take down a few of these creep tumors to diminish the vision of Zagara. The problem really that with two specialists that are just well known for all their pushing power, Roccat find themselves in a position where every single time they abandon a lane just for a couple of seconds, they are risking to lose structures. They have really nice fighting opportunities though, and they are using it against Kuni-chan, who is about to get away here. Does he have another? No, he does not have another Iron Skin, and Sefka is rather low. He was trying to take down Chris, not successfully though, and Nuborak on the other hand, he was taken out. So now Nuborak dead. It's a trade-in kills, 2 kills against 1 in favor of Virtus Pro. Roccat, they are still on roughly the same amount of experience, which is actually a very solid accomplishment here. But we have the bot lane again pressured by Sergeant Hammer. Sergeant is moving in. Sefka, of course, knows that the next tribute is going to spawn up at the top lane, and Sefkaja currently trying to take down at least the well. It doesn't really look like he's rotating over. He knows that he's going to take a long time for this, so they give up the tribute. But at this point, with level 10 being imminent, it looks very much like we are going to see Roccat not even fight for this one. They can though. There's like only 3 heroes in the vicinity, so the only thing that Virtus Pro is trying to do is try to stall that out for as long as possible, buy some time for Sergeant Hammer and Lily to do damage down at the bot lane. And that's where the shield glare on Johanna comes into play, already knocking Chris out there. The bot lane is still being pressured. The tribute will be collected, but it's only the first one for Roccat. And as you can see down here, this fort is not really going to make it. So at this point, we're having already Sefka on level 10 with this team, seeing the Army of the Dead taken. As in this case also the Maw, we have the Blessed Shield, and also the Jug of 1,000 Cups for Lily with the healing, and what else could it be? Napalm being used as well. To the right side of the map, we have the heroic abilities for good old Roccat with, again, Divine Palm, Water Elemental, the March of the Black King, and as you can see here, it is Cocoon plus Ultimate Evolution, which is of course exactly what you need. I mean, the Ultimate Evolution is one of those talents that is just so attractive right now, since the cooldown got reduced in the last patch by 20 seconds, which is absolutely insane. A 50-second cooldown on the heroic ability is such a great treat. I mean, it's amazing. You have it ready in nearly every single fight there. So currently we have in the bot lane another tribute spawning, both the teams on level 11, even with all of the structures taken down. Virtus Pro is in a bit of trouble. Nice Cocoon here, great play against the healing ult on Lily. That is exactly why they chose Nuborak, and this is exactly why they made sure that Zocke went into Cocoon instead of the Locust Swarm. So now Virtus Pro is on the run, pushed back here. Sefka actually trying to deliver some damage to Chris and maybe take him out here. Won't really got the chance there, and Sefka is now falling. 2 kills versus 2 overall in the game, and Roccat really making an impression now. Andilendi rushing in to try and delay that tribute for even a bit longer, but in the end it's only going to be tribute number 2, so no real danger just yet. In the mid lane, Unstable and Andilendi are once again very eager to make sure that Sport Billy is not going to pressure the mid lane. And to the bot lane, Kuni-chan is maybe a bit too far out here. Oh, tries to get away. Don't think that he has the Iron Skin still up, but he escapes regardless. Nice move there in the last second, also with the Shield Glare, making sure that they can't deliver any additional auto attacks. And in the mid lane, it's still Leoric doing his things. Somebody call the Ghostbusters, because this guy is a pain. We have level 12 versus 11. Still the slight lead in experience for Virtus Pro, but they are not far ahead. And they will maybe hit level 13 before Roccat does, but it should not really come into play. Doesn't really look like we're going to see any kind of timing window that Virtus Pro would be able to exploit here. Hammer together with Unstable and Kuni-chan again going for another camp. And that's a pretty cool timing. We're seeing the same attempt by Roccat, but they don't go for the Bruiser camp. Instead, it's the Siege Giant camp that is supposed to push the bot lane here. The Tribute already in position. Sefka and Kuni-chan are starting to move over. And at this point, level 13 talents would go a long way, but they don't have them just yet. Zevka, of course, has the thrusters up, so he's going to just like wait for Anubarak to engage. Anubarak, on the other hand, is busy taking down Anilendi, a great maw, but Anilendi is very unlikely to escape this one. Zocke already there, and even with the AoE damage, it should be enough. Anilendi taken down, Zagara dead, but down here, the copy on Jaina is already down as well, so at least Abathur doesn't have another opportunity to get his damage in. The problem is, though, that the tribute has been taken just in the last second, and the blue team is now cursed. Virtus Pro is cursed, and they are trying, of course, to push all of these lanes back. The top lane fort has fallen, so they need to focus on bot and mid lane, at least for now. They can have Zagara move up to the top lane once that she's back, and both of the teams are now on level 13 talents, where we see a bit of an adjustment on the side of Karazim. Oftentimes it's Relentless that is being taken for the hero as level 13 talent, but it's Quicksilver in this case now for his dash, so another interesting talent here. And also Anubarak not going, he actually goes into Kind Healer's plating. He already took one of his W talents earlier on level 7 to apply more AoE damage. Gives him like an incredible wave here. But for now, we have just, again, Giant Killer, and this is really where it's going to be quite difficult for a lot of these heroes that we're seeing on the roster of Roccat to make something happen against Hammer. Personally, I'm very curious to see what kind of level 16 talent Sergeant Hammer is going to take. Graduating range is absolutely amazing right now. Hovering siege mode is a talent you still see sometimes taken, but especially with Sergeant Hammer being able to just siege, like the siege mode, the entire siege mode process is so much faster now that you don't necessarily need hovering siege mode anymore. Of course, it adds still a few benefits to you, but if you have graduating range, you can siege up at a ridiculous distance and then just make sure that you get all of that damage in without your opponent even being able to attack you. Boss already taken at the bot lane, and we're seeing the same thing happening up at the top. Both of the teams now on level 14, but with a slight lead in experience for Roccat, so they have a solid position here. We could see also on level 30 or level 16. That's the interesting part. We could actually see either the imposing presence for Leoric, or he's just going to go into the renewed swing. He took paralyzing rage on level 7, and therefore there's a chance that they are trying to look for the synergy there to lock somebody down even further and really prevent them from getting away. But for now, we have down here still Virtus Pro moving in, but a bit of a trap from Roccat. They're trying to let the trap snap. Admiral Akbar already warning them. It's a trap, but it was maybe a bit too late. They still walk right into it. Kuni-chan is about to die here, but game kept alive by Unstable. There is no cocoon. It's a bit too late. They use it then, and it's not really helping against Lily. The ult went through, kept everybody alive here, but it's Zagara that dies first. Chris is super low, and he's eliminated as well. BKB is now trying to chase the rest of them away too. They're going straight for Leoric. No way. Is Leoric actually going to survive this? Kuni-chan is rushing in, and now with Abathur support, it looks like it's actually Johanna that's in trouble. Johanna down, getting a bit too greedy there with Abathur. Leoric is just such a monster, especially with his Drain Hope. And on level 16, he did not take a talent yet, but it is for him, it's at least for one of them, imposing presence and consume vitality for Leoric. Leoric is about to get away here. The Wraith Walk could save him, but nope, it is indeed Karazim who jumps in again. He now has the Circle of Life on top of the Echo of Heaven, which will of course boost his heal power even more. Unstable! No way! Oh, the dash! Shadowmar jumps in and gets the kill. They get the vision, and now they get a double kill. Well played here by Roccat. That fight actually turned against them, and then they were able to come back into it. Hazob's up at the top lane, soaking even more experience. And talking about the experience soak, I mean, we have level 16 talents now also in the hands of Virtus Pro, and it's 3 kills against 7 overall in the game, but they are now much more tanky, with Arthur's finally having his stone skin. We are also looking at brute expansion for Zagara, which is of course going to boost her damage quite significantly. Herbal Cleanse is really important if you're going up against a lineup that has this many stuns or lockdowns, and we have the Holy Renewal now as well. And that level 16 talent on Sergeant Hammer, I'm really curious what that's going to be. Are we going to see graduating range, or is it going to be one of the other talents? She has amazing talents on level 16. Could even go into Stone Skin, for example. If you really feel that you're one of the priority targets, which Sergeant Hammer oftentimes is, then you can try and get a bit more survivability, but it is the graduating range, and I am loving it. Let's see if they can get this set up in one of the fights so that she can really exploit this talent. For now, also quite interesting is the experience taken in the game. 13,000 on Abathur, as you can see here. Zagara, who was oftentimes alone on a lane, has 10,000 now on her own, but it really shows that Hazobs was able to get quite a solid lead in experience for his team here. Madness trying to get that. So currently, tribute number, well, 3 potentially on the side of Virtus Pro is spawning up at the top. If Sergeant Hammer gets in a good position here early on, she can really siege up from a huge distance, but right now doesn't really look like she can make that happen. Could move a bit farther to the back and then siege up to get that damage in and still cover the tribute. Kinda needs to do that. Already pushing Unstable back. Here comes that heal ult. Anubarak jumping in and kicking Unstable away now. So double Anubarak in this case. Hazords with a copy, not on Jaina. Nice Maw here against 2 heroes already, but a great March of the Black King. Oh my god, Sport Billy, that was perfect. He is hitting every swing at least 3 heroes, and they drop Zagara before the fight even starts. Unstable is low, so is Soccer though. He's trying to get away here, and they get the kill against Lili, but Anubarak is also paying with his life. Sefka is still alive here, but Sport Billy wants to change that. He's already rushing in with the Wraith Walk. Nice pushback here, but Abathur is still in range, and Shadowmark can dash in if he wanted to. Great kills here for Roccat. 4 kills against 1, and they will get another tribute now. And during all of this, the bot lane was still soaked by Hazords, who's helping out those 2 siege giants to even push the structures back further. Very, very well done. So at this point, we're having once again up at the top lane already Leoric in position here, and he is starting to push Kuni-chan away. Yeah, job well done there. Yeah, in this case, well, Kuni-chan is actually going to die. They're dancing around. They're actually trolling Kuni-chan a bit. That's not really nice, but well, they do it. So Kuni-chan is going to fall eventually, and goodbye Johanna. They were actually delaying that for as long as they possibly could, because let's face it, the later Johanna dies, the better for them. The more time they will have where she's dead, they will accumulating the rest of the team anyways in this case now. So we have currently level 20 versus level 18. Hive Mind taken, Hardened Shield and one of the heroes. Maybe the Death March for Leoric. We have a Blink for Jaina and also the Storm Shield now. So a lot of sustain that we have here in total. And especially when it comes to Abathur, we have quite a bit of damage. That Hive Mind talent is great. It was changed by Blizzard in one of the recent patches a bit, and it's now really strong. Sefka already in position here to help out with the boss at the bot lane. They're of course trying to at least get an exchange. The problem is that there's also a tribute spawning, and with this tribute in play, if they don't get it, then they're going to be cursed. But it looks like Roccat is just simply going to go for core. Unstable will take that tribute though. He's going to take the tribute. The boss is there, but the problem is that the core is now being pushed. Sefka needs to siege up here in the back somewhere. He doesn't. The curse is ready. They get maybe a kill against Jaina. Not quite yet. Already Anubarak with a cocoon, but more has been used as well. 50% on the core. Nice heals by Lili. Jaina is already dead. Sefka sieging up, pushing them away. 37% on the core. This is going to be game. The boss is on core now as well. And this is it. We have victory for Team Roccat. They advance in the losers bracket of the End of the Storm, and Virtus Pro has been defeated. Congratulations to Roccat. Well played, and GG. Very solid play by Roccat, and they are able to win it. They are down 1 game in the best of 3 series, and then they win 2 in a row. Now they are the victor. They advance to meet either Team Liquid or Na'Vi in the next round of the End of the Storm tournament here in the losers bracket. Very well played by them. Great job. For Virtus Pro, of course, a bit disappointing here, especially after this victory starting them off into the series. But they can, of course, show us their skills in other tournaments then. Congratulations again to Roccat. Very well played here. Hope that you guys enjoyed the commentary, and of course also the games itself. We see already a bit of hero variation there, which is always fun to observe. And if you guys like the video and the commentary, then make sure that you hit that thumbs up button on YouTube. Thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope that you are going to join us again here on Khaldor TV with even more Heroes of the Storm matches next time. If you want to subscribe, of course, you're always welcome to do that. Support would be really appreciated. And guys, I'm going to see you next time with even more Heroes of the Storm content on YouTube. So have a great day and see you soon. Bye bye.